Let's go, let's go. Was that loud? Was that too loud? It sure was loud in my headpiece. My goodness, I could not be more excited to dive into Janet's hard work. What a blessing to us all. Wow. Super excited. I hope you're all having a terrific day. Bear with me as I kick off the live here on Instagram. Lots to dive into, lots to expose, and we should be excited to do this. This is the deep dive. This is knowledge is power. Information will set us free. The truth has been suppressed for far too long. Let's shine the light on evil. Let's ramp up free speech. In fact, speaking on free speech, you know what? We'll kick things off first. How about that? Welcome to a muzzled chat. We gotta keep it OG, right? Can't have an episode without that. I'm pretty sure I've missed a few along the way, but freaking love you guys. Love you all. Thank you for showing up yet again on the vote and helping this country take a huge step in the right direction. Now, we need to unify and keep this momentum together to secure our future. The war hasn't been won. The war, in fact, is bigger than a presidential person or our government. We could talk about it in the spiritual sense of the synagogue of Satan and the devil. We could talk about this war in the mortal sense. And if you really boil down on to specific individuals, it's the West central bank system. It's the Federal Reserve. We all know who's behind all of that. They are truly the rulers of this world, the top of the chain, pulling the strings. They are the puppet masters, if you will. And there are some families alongside of them that are more so unknown than the Rockefellers and Rothschilds. 100%. That's where together we could shine the light on them all. So that being said, without further ado, let's do a screen share and dive on in, because my gosh, I could go through this series multiple times. She goes over so much information, so well laid out, but we're only so human. We only retain and grasp so much as these limited beings. So it's important that we refresh on. It's kind of hard to keep pace with this world, to be honest, and keep the proper priorities at top of the list. But right before we dive into this, I found a full-length speech from Trump regarding censorship. And prior to playing this, let me show you the most recent. Now, what is this? Our fourth TikTok on a muzzled chat. And it's not just TikTok, it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There's so many tyrannical platforms out there still to this day that still hold the majority of the populace. And it's like, we need to ask them, don't you value your freedom? Because if you value your freedom at all, then you got to grasp that you're showing up in chains. You're choosing slavery by really supporting those platforms more so than free speech ones. And without the proper discernment and acknowledgement regarding that censorship, they 100% will be manipulated. So look at how shocking this is. This is what you ask yourself. Is it China behind it? No. It's the ones at the top that essentially are running China And they want to mimic that model here in America and all over in multiple countries, getting a compliant people, a monitoring system. So anyway, let's not get too distracted, but check this out. This should not be censored. We just played a clip yesterday regarding a liberal losing her stuff, talking about murdering everyone that voted for Trump. And that sticks. Actual incitement of violence, actual threats, legitimate threats, telling us to go kill ourselves. Yet this gets banned? Unbelievable.
Experiment, then why did you stop it? You know what I mean? Why didn't they just continue doing it the way that they were doing it? Because they were coercing people against their will. They were segregating military members. They were discriminating military members. Right there, those three things alone violate the UCMJ automatically. Wow. You know what I mean? They're breaking their own rules. And then you start seeing people getting out and everything like, yo, this is not what I signed up for. I signed up to serve my country.
Yo, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up to serve my country. We got to applaud. We got to support these heroes, our soldiers, the ones that morally stood upright against illegal criminal orders and mandates. And we all know it was so tyrannical. It was so egregious. We can't accept that outcome. We must demand extreme accountability from everyone, every agency, every employer, especially in our military. Unbelievable. Did he say vaccine? Did he say deaths? No, he very specifically explained the tyranny they experienced. You know what? This got taken down for integrity. The other one got taken down that I'm about to play under misinformation. This is so freaking dangerous. This is why I'm so excited on the clip. On the flip side, I'm going to play for you regarding Trump, the full-fledged clip. And it's crucial. We are not free without a free press. We haven't been free for a very, very long time. And even with the option of freedom with free speech platforms such as Rumble, the bulk of the people still don't get it. They project as though they value freedom, but show up and shackle themselves. And they don't even realize that they're doing that. So it's crucial. I mean, why would they be censoring this, by the way? This is health related. I mean, that's why we got to fight for our free speech, and we got to fight to maintain, not just maintain our health, let's up our health. We have all been diminished more than we can even know. I will guarantee that. And if we could just, it's fun to think of miracles and snapping fingers and being the best version of you and healthily functioning. I bet if we snapped our fingers like, holy moly, we would fight to keep that, to have that. It's just been a slow drip, a slow diminishing. And that's the thing about dumbing people down, is you don't know, because you're literally being dumbed down. You don't know about it's just a slow drip process. Luckily, we have enough function, and we proved that in the election. We proved that in unifying. Let's continue to unify. Let's build momentum. We have just gotten started. Our roles, our responsibility has only just begun. We're not to kick our feet up. We had our little celebration. Yes, we can continue to celebrate, pat ourselves on the back, but this is still continuing. The bigger warfare is still being waged. And if we don't address, who's to say that they don't become like they resort to their plan B, Z, whatever, and really put us in unleash something that really puts our health entirely at risk. We can't. It's worth fighting for now while we have the chance with our health.
Things aren't horrible in small quantities. It's not small quantities, because when you are putting things above us, the dissipation rates are dependent on weather and climate, but it's getting into the food, it's getting into the soil. And around the world, wastewater treatment plants, when it comes to pharmaceuticals or these toxicants is what they're called, they are not able to filter them out. So if you're growing organic food, we're going to go back to the plexiglass barriers on our plants. I mean, it's horrible. Right. That's why you can ban it anywhere. We've had states in the United States ban it, and that is great to get the ball rolling. But people really need to wake up to it, irrespective of any political party. It's not okay. And you're seeing a huge increase in neurodegenerative issues like Alzheimer's. Yes. It's really difficult for people with respiratory issues and asthma. And people are wondering why they have allergies 24/7, 365.
Right. And I like what you said about that climate change or the...
All right, you can watch that in its entirety, and she's done multiple whistleblowing on that. But are we taking this lightly? How is this in one ear and out the other? This in and of itself, nothing else. All right, I already see folks dropping out, and it does sadden my heart. But hey, everyone's got the choice. Whether they want to stay ignorant and show up to the war none of us asked for. I mean, ignorance isn't bliss. And what she was sounding the alarm on is extremely important and detrimental, not just to your health, but if you're married, to your husband or wife, if you have kids, to your children, if you care about your parents, your grandparents, your loved one, anyone. It's detrimental to everyone, and no one can hide from what they're spraying in the skies. Now, she's a whistleblower. She was on the side of creating and military background, and she's been on multiple platforms. Okay, there's nothing conspiratorial about this. They legitimately are putting things in the skies under the guise of fighting climate change that in fact diminish our health and poison us all. So I do challenge individuals, quit projecting like you love your loved ones and have exceptions. I'll only be willing to die for them if someone breaks into my home. Let's go the full way with the words we use and back them with true meaning by action. And we got to shut these down. Until we shut this down, we aren't effectively protecting our loved ones. We aren't effectively willing, like you say you're willing to die for them and protect them. But what are we doing? So luckily, with RFK, with this clip we're about to play, even with Trump, it looks as though teams and things are finally being built out to where we aren't, oh yeah, it looks like a lot of people dipped out there. They don't like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just trying to explain that ultimately, if we don't properly address these things, then you must acknowledge the future and grasp, like, you want to shoot the messenger, you don't want to stay tuned. It's just interesting. Maybe I'm just talking too much and I need to get to more so the experts. We're going to play this in its entirety because this is crucial. This is going to create the right momentum we need to wake up the masses. There has been a mass awakening, but there isn't near enough awake as to the real war being waged and the real threats we are all still facing right here, right now, this day. I love you all. I don't mean to be too harsh, but cutesy time's over, as Dan Bongino would say, especially in a wartime. All right.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that.
100%.
If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away.
Yes.
In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people.
Right.
They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person.
Good. We'll end fascism.
To censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis- or disinformation.
That's huge.
And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship,
infringing,
directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI.
He's going through it even kind of fast here. If we even really looked into as to how influential any one of those organizations, even our health organizations, were behind infringing on our First Amendment right to enrich themselves, to fulfill their agendas, we would not just be assembling over a presidential figure. We would be assembling to take out the cabal once and for all.
The DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. To assist in these efforts, I am urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters. We have to do this right now.
Yes.
To the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship.
Let's go.
Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send...
You want to infringe on our rights? Extreme accountability. I love it.
...the bill to my desk, revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230.
I like it.
They meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech. Fourth, we need to break up...
As Janet pointed out, they censor our speech, but they allow human child trafficking on Wayfair and so many of these big Facebook social media platforms. She brings the receipts. It is incredible work she's done. What a gift. Thank you, Janet. May you rest in peace.
Up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support 100%. For a period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials, there should be a 7-year calling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data. Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter.
Wow.
Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. President, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything
left.
Let's
By
restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation. Thank you, and God bless America.
I mean, just like he
if
says
we don't
in
have
the
free
beginning.
speech, then we just don't have a free country.
Boom, right there. Now, this was very well thought out. And the more I play it through, it's not scary. It's precisely what we need to rein in the true propagandists. And it's not infringing on free speech in doing so. It's just addressing the evil infrastructure that we've been up against for far too long. I applaud Trump for this. Wow. There is hope for this country. There's hope for all of us. That is exciting stuff. I hope you're excited because, I mean, just think about it. We get rid of the true propagandists and allow free speech more widely spread. Less are going to fall prey to the manipulation propagandist war machine. The war machine will start falling apart. I mean, exciting stuff. All right. Well, Janet, we love you, hon. We appreciate you. Thank you for all this information, putting in all your hard work. This was a woman that valued freedom and was willing and ultimately ended up paying the ultimate sacrifice for us all. Let's continue. I'm excited. Let's go. More about Bill Gates. Wow. Let's watch his last evil tricks.
Believe us, we really wanted to stop talking about Bill Gates.
Yeah.
But do you know
so evil.
how he actually does it? How is it possible that he presents himself?
If for whatever reason you still like Bill Gates, you think he's a philanthropist and out to save the world, my gosh, watch the last 4 episodes of The Fall of the Cabal. Or the ones we touched on. Just skip our last episode and dive into the other ones. It is unbelievable what this demon has been up to. Now, he's a puppet. He's just the front man behind a big organization, as Janet would say, the freaking cabal. Let's expose them.
Greatest philanthropist, giving away billions of dollars each year, yet ending up getting richer and richer and richer.
Golly.
Did you know that in the end, it's we, the taxpayers, that pay for all his projects? Do you realize that in fact, we pay for our own depopulation?
Unacceptable.
Let's see how Gates pulls it off, shall we? Remember the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a tax-exempt entity?
Jeez.
Remember 501c3 and c4? The only tax they have to pay in the US is a couple of excise duties. In 2017, this was $9. In 2018, it was $383. According to Forbes, Bill Gates enjoys the biggest and best tax break of all time. The American government has missed out on $15 to $20 billion because of this regulation.
Jiminy crickets.
Let's put things into perspective here, shall we? Gates is richer than 45 countries together. 45 sub-Saharan African countries. 1% of the world's population owns half of the world's wealth.
Ooh. Now, that number after the pandemic has jumped up drastically. Now the 1%ers hold the majority of the wealth over the middle class. Unbelievable what they're able to do with behind closed doors. We can't even fathom the warfare from weaponizing parasites, weaponizing DNA changing vaccines. I mean, the list goes on. This is why we got to stop the manipulation of our water, our food supply, and our air so we can maintain at least choice in this existence. Those three things, any one of those three things infiltrated, they could slip by our consent entirely and roll out the most evil. Now, how do I know that, like, this is in fact taking place, and it's been taking place for a long time? Once again, hello, I got Lyme disease. It's no freaking joke. You don't want it. It almost took me out. By the grace of God, I am still here, and I'm just here to sound the alarm because I want a better, brighter future for all of you, and I want you all to have the at least a fair chance of becoming the best version of you. We must address these things.
The poorest half of the world's population owns as much as the richest 8 individuals.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Those 8 individuals doubled or even tripled their wealth during the COVID crisis.
All these individuals combined don't stack up against who's behind the Federal Reserve. All these individuals combined don't stack up against Xi Jinping running a whole country, owning lives, not just money. Any dictator. Holy. Jeez. Ooh, American billionaires have gotten $280 billion richer since the start of COVID-19 pandemic. Is it making sense why they did trials of a pandemic before the actual pandemic? It was totally planned to enrich in themselves, gain more power. And this is where it truly is bigger than the presidential and everything. So we must unify. And at the end of the day, if Trump listens, great. We will do amazing things together. At the end of the day, if he doesn't address the cabal and these threats, well, then it's up to us to get someone in that will. That's what it boils down to.
Whereas the medium and small businesses went bankrupt, they increased their wealth ruthlessly. All of this is possible by a global economic system that was set in motion by the cabal, and that is corrupt to the core. Isn't it time to focus on that and on redistributing the wealth of this 1%?
Janet's so good. Oh my gosh.
Isn't it time to stop getting brainwashed with sustainable development goals?
Yes.
And redirect our energy where it belongs?
Yes.
Namely, to take down the cabal and to redistribute their stolen trillions amongst the people they bereft?
I hope you're psyched. Let's go. We got an opportunity today. This is what we're put on this earth to do. I'm telling you what. Among many things. Wow.
Don't you think this will, in the blink of an eye, end poverty, hunger, and inequality forever?
Yeah.
Despite the impression that Bill Gates is giving away his fortune to charity, his estimated net worth is constantly increasing.
Right. Empire of lies.
His foundation is only accountable to itself, which mainly means Bill and Melinda Gates personally. The only 3 trustees are Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett. As a private foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is obliged only to report its high-level financial figures to the US government to retain its tax-exempt status. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has influence without accountability. Please let that sink in.
Oh, this is so good. And I don't mean to squirrel too much here, but I genuinely want to hear from you. How can I do better as we go through this information? I want and desire to do better so more people are able and willing to absorb these truths, to understand the world we live in and not just be entirely absorbed into the luxury side of it, the mortal smaller picture, the smoke and mirrors and all the fluff, and lead to more meaningful. So I need to get better. By doing little inserts like this, is this too distracting? Collectively, we can ramp things up. So let me know in the comments. You can email me personally at unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. And by the way, would love to invite anyone on the podcast to tell your story and breathe light into individuals too, because you yourself will have your own gift and way of speaking light into individuals in ways I cannot. So do not discredit the impact you could have. Sorry for the distraction. Let's continue.
Don't you think it's time to end this abuse of rules and regulations?
Yes.
Don't you think it's about time to redefine Article 501c3 and 4 of the Internal Revenue Code?
Yeah.
Bill Gates owned most of his personal wealth through Microsoft. He fabricated an exclusionary licensing agreement with PC manufacturers, and as a result, he created an illegal monopoly position. In 2004, after years of legal procedures and several court cases, Gates was fined by the European Union. He had to pay $611 million. Bill Gates could not have cared less. Over $500 million meant nothing to him. In the US, Gates got away with a settlement. He made a complete fool of the Justice Department and carried on as if nothing had changed. Gates now uses his monopoly experience in Africa and other less developed countries, where he is actually creating a monopoly on seeds, forcing them onto local farmers, making them utterly dependent and vulnerable.
Dang.
And when the farmers don't comply, they are criminalized and fined.
Just like the pre-pandemic experiment, he's doing what he can through other countries and experiments to roll out across the globe. Why has he bought up so much of our farmland? Why has China? This is not good. It's not good for the African brothers and sisters either. Let's go. Expose them.
250,000 desperate Indian farmers committed suicide. Others sold their children trying to survive.
Wow. sad.
Gates could not care less.
Wow.
Why wasn't any of this ever in the news?
Right.
How come we didn't know about this? The answer is simple.
Control.
Money buys everything, especially
Yes.
broadcasting time.
Information. Yes. Unbelievable. This is a direct threat to us all.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Freaking
Eastern Iowa
puppet.
communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality,
All of them.
balanced journalism
Fox
that CBS 4 News
included.
produces.
But we are concerned about one-sided news stories
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish the same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all
This
too
is
common on
incredible.
More alarming, some media outlets publish.
It's like, welcome to the Matrix. You've now been red-pilled. Unless, like, you've lost your discernment and you can't know any longer grasp what this means. We've had such an awakening. It's such a gift. And actually, when you look into the individuals, it's biblical. It's spiritual. I mean, it blesses us more than setting us free in this mortal existence, but spiritually, and leads us on a path. It just shifts all our priorities, or one that would seek enough understanding would kind of lead to that. Anyway, unbelievable how we've been duped for too long. I was included.
Without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control
Unbelievable.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 See, that's where I like what Trump was talking about. Like, you best not be deleting things because extreme accountability. They infringed in huge ways on our amendments, these institutions themselves.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 We've been given the illusion of choice in this
To be
country.
truly effective, vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics must be affordable and accessible to all.
Equitable and universal access to vaccination, treatment, and diagnostics.
We must all work together on improving diagnostics,
accelerating
therapies, and ultimately developing a vaccine.
Everyone should have access to COVID-19 testing, treatment, and vaccines.
But the task will only be completed when vaccines, tests, and treatments are available and affordable to every child, woman, and man who needs them.
Did you catch that? That last gentleman, Rockefeller Foundation? That's more to the top. I mean, I'm telling you, they're the ones right here. U.S. ambassador, come on. We've been not just occupied, we've been conquered as a nation. Our job has only begun. I'm excited. I hope everyone becomes excited to take all our responsibilities up a level, right? And really engage. I'm hopeful.
Support vaccines, therapeutics, diagnostics development, preparedness efforts, and humanitarian assistance.
On how to make vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics accessible to everyone.
Wow, they've infiltrated a lot.
Into diagnostics, therapies, and vaccines.
So the race for a vaccine, for better treatments, for quick and reliable tests.
Impfstoffe, Tests und Medikamente müssen für alle Menschen auf der Welt verfügbar, bezahlbar und zugänglich sein.
World leaders, not just talking heads. Unbelievable.
To provide universal access for the anti-COVID drugs, tests, and vaccine. to make sure that everyone has access to treatment, to vaccines, to a strong health system.
COVID-19. Vaccines, treatments,
the weaponization of words.
Des moyens de diagnostic, de traitement et des vaccins.
Using health services,
in vitro diagnostics
unbelievable.
like tests and therapeutics and vaccines
for better diagnostic and therapeutic medical supplies. We must
It's
also
not
ensure
better.
that there is access to better treatment and care.
You know what's better? The unvaccinated children, anyone on any of it, whether it's flu, childhood vaccine, the pandemic jab, any of it. Statistically speaking, you're better off and you're healthier without any of them. So how aren't words supposed to mean something to us? Doesn't this help give us... Now, these individuals may have drank the Kool-Aid. They may be influenced, clearly controlled or bribed or manipulated in one way or another. But that's where we gain the distinction between our loving creator God, everything free agency, and then the God of this world, the prince of this world, as Jesus stated, wants to deceive and destroy. Well, this is deceit, plain as day. And what is the outcomes? Entirely destructive.
The global quest for a vaccine.
Ensuring development, production, and equitable delivery of COVID-19 diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines.
For vaccines, diagnostics, and health systems.
Has access to COVID-19 tests, treatments.
This is why we must go after the information.
Gates has established enormous propaganda power.
Right. Look at all
Have
that.
a good look at this chart.
Right. Screenshot it.
Apart from its donations to the mainstream radio and TV channels, the Gates Foundation has invested millions of dollars in training programs for journalists.
Right.
Media fact sheets and newspaper opinion pieces are put together by organizations that are funded by the Gates Foundation.
Wow. No wonder individuals in the know find it now insulting to be called a journalist, because they stepped away from the meaning of that through influence like this. Unbelievable. We haven't had real
Scientific journals get
for a
Gates'
while.
money to publish research and articles. So what do you think is in them?
Lies, more deceit. Wow.
Everyone follows the Gates Foundation's lead. It feels like they are everywhere. Every conference I go to, they are there. Every study that comes out, they're part of. You might find yourself someday reading a story about a Gates-funded health project, written up in a newspaper that gets its health coverage underwritten by Gates, reported by a journalist who attended a Gates-funded journalism training program, citing data collected and analyzed by scientists with grants from Gates.
Wow. So well said.
Do you really think any of it will be objective, honest information?
Nope.
Gates truly is everywhere. In every media outlet, on the internet, and most certainly in each and every so-called fact-checker.
Unbelievable.
Even when we wrote this script, various critical articles that we read were taken down from the internet the very next day.
Right.
That's how far this goes. That's how scared they are.
Now, it's either I'm doing really bad at my job when people drop out, or it's actually an indicator to us that they've been effective diminishing our health to actually care, like, or even value as to how important it is. If you lose your health in this life, you lose everything, especially your neurological function. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, in this digital age, you lose your body and you still have your mind. You still could be a Stephen Hawking's. You could still have great influence. I know that'd be a great challenge, but so any which way you slice it, because it's all of it. It's a body function, chronic illness, but the neurological dysfunction. So I challenge those that want to prematurely pop out. It's like, what is it? Is it because the entertainment value, or are you actually turning away from absorbing information that really could lead to saving your life or those you love? It's so crucial.
When Baxter Dimitri wrote an article for Defend Democracy Press about something Gates's former doctor had said to colleagues at a conference in Seattle, hell broke loose. These are the doctor's words. I don't know if he had his children vaccinated as adults, but I can tell you he point blank refused to vaccinate them as children.
Interesting.
Dimitri wrote, the news that Bill Gates does not vaccinate his own children, despite being the world's most active campaigner for mandatory vaccinations, should come as no surprise. Studies prove that the elite do not vaccinate their children.
Studies prove that the elite do not vaccinate their children. But at the same time, they expect the masses to have their children vaccinated. Freaking absorb that. And then you look at the information. Watch Vaxxed 1. Watch Vaxxed 2. Look at the actual, what's happening before our eyes. Unbelievable. But it's incredible to achieve and absorb this knowledge, because what we could do with that collectively, we outnumber these freaking demons millions to one. Let's shut them down. Most importantly, our God will see to it they're properly judged 100% accurately, perfectly, better than we ever could. And more than we can even imagine. But we must bring down their house of cards to breathe light into our loved ones. So let's not project as though we love individuals and are willing to sacrifice with limitations. Let's fully envelop what that love and sacrifice means by doing and showing up, and smash that like button. And it's not for me. It's not for Unmuzzled Chat. It's to have a bigger impact. It will help this message get out. Please share it to the best of your ability. Janet's work here is phenomenal. And if it isn't with my, let's say, commentary, right here in the description, the link to this very episode right there, send that to the moon. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you do. Unmuzzled Chat Warriors, I'm so grateful. This is a very exciting time. I hope we seize this moment to its fullest.
But at the same time, they expect the masses to have their children vaccinated. Very rich and privileged parents like the idea of herd immunity, but they don't want to take the risks associated with vaccinations when it comes to their own children. They are worried about adverse reactions, including autism.
Right.
The studies Dimitri referred to were from 2015 and were still online when we produced this documentary. I wonder for how much longer. One study was published in CNN Health, the other one in the American Journal of Public Health. And guess what? When you consult any of the fact-checkers, you will see that they all fervently deny that the dear doctor ever uttered those words. They will deny anything and everything until the bitter end.
Wow.
After all, one does not bite the hand that feeds you. Right now, as we are editing this episode, thousands of people are getting sick after having their COVID shot. Women are reporting disrupted menstruation cycles. Others suffer miscarriages or have stillborns. People are getting paralyzed due to blood clots in their veins. Some die of a brain hemorrhage, a pulmonary embolism, or cardiac arrest. And once again, no mainstream media coverage.
To this day, most censored topic. I can't even on YouTube or Rumble point out the VAERS reporting system without even speaking crazy ill. Just, hey, check it out, and the actual death numbers and the reported injuries through that. Now, we all know But so just even that statement right there, boom, misinformation. Is like, what I just was pointing them out to your own reporting system. I didn't even point out the fact that the Harvard study actually shows that this is less than 1% of the actual numbers, egregiously manipulated to keep us in the dark. Because once again, if we truly grasped the outcome of even just the COVID shots, they would not be available on the shelf at your local pharmacy. That's for damn sure. But we would seek extreme accountability, and we would build out these infrastructures, Western medicine, to actually prioritize our health and wellness over any profiteering. Now, I don't want to demonize anyone. I'm sorry. Let's disclaimer real quick. Anyone that ended up being manipulated and got the shot, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you got put in the position you got put in. Undoubtedly, I would have made the same decisions walking in your shoes. So I'm not here to demonize anyone, but like they geared up all this weaponization of words, a war machine, 5th generation warfare tactics to misinform, to pressure, all the different strategies, all the different tactics to get people manipulated into getting it. Now, ignorance isn't going to lead you down a good path. Hopefully you got the placebo and then maybe ignorance, whatever. But ignorance still won't protect you from futuristic things. We got to fully grasp what took place. But more importantly, for those that got it, to dive into this information, do blood samples, look into Dr. McCullough and all these individuals that are doing groundbreaking things to help eradicate the spike proteins and actually breathe health back into individuals suffering from it. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of individuals that are symptom-free today from that shot are not going to be symptom-free tomorrow or 6 months from now. So, best equip yourself and start taking out the stuff that is leading to many, many issues on a true epidemic level. She's bringing the receipts, folks. Jeez. Can one die of skin disorder? Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh, folks. Come on. AstraZeneca. We've had a veteran on that did the AstraZeneca study that his leg might be amputated. And they preyed on so many of our veterans. It's crazy. This is warfare. Nothing shy of it. To say otherwise would be delusional, and that just means you haven't tuned into enough truth that has been suppressed. Fact checkers didn't even exist until truth started squeaking its way out into the open. So they had to combat that. Now we have Trump, kind of getting on the front lines, and there is great momentum that could be had with that. Let's continue. Let's support. Let's get everyone on free speech platforms. Let's assume the responsibilities we all got to our loved ones. Sorry, I don't mean to be repetitive, but I'm just so excited to gain and build momentum in this time. These charts are actually blown up since then, since Janet created this, but it's still very powerful to see. Wow. Oh my gosh. Poor thing.
Come on, baby. Come on. Breathe, baby, breathe.
I'm going to step some. I'm asking that. Please get not to the jugular.
It's okay.
The fact of the matter is, we were so ingrained, indoctrinated, manipulated, mind controlled even, there were clinics with lines of people waiting to get their shot, where people before them were convulsing, passing out, being taken out in a stretcher, rushing to an ambulance, and they stayed in the freaking line. Just goes to show how effective these war tactics have become on all of us. Oh, it's so sad. There's now videos, we've plugged them, hours long, showing influencers that advocated for the shot and are no longer with us. Sports individuals, it was never more than 10 would drop on a field. Now it's in the thousands. How many freaking news anchors and political figures and people on stage have dropped right before our eyes? And it hasn't.
We are not going any deeper into the COVID thing in this series. We produced a separate documentary on that topic, and we ask you to watch it.
Yes, she did great.
All that is left to say is that Gates' vaccine manufacturers are exempt from liability, which means you cannot take them to court if anything goes wrong.
Supposedly, now we collectively, what kind of BS rule is that? No. Collectively unified? Absolutely not. There's no immunity for crimes against humanity in war. War crimes. Sorry, nope. We're to abolish these institutions, these pharma groups. So much of the system needs to be revamped.
If your health, your life, or that of your loved ones are destroyed by the consequences of this experimental vaccine, there will be nothing you can do.
Well, let me breathe some light. It very well could be your quickest road to become a multimillionaire. Now, for the majority of people suffering, if it came down to a choice of their health and millions, the majority of them, I'm sure, would take their health. That's why we're not to gamble and roll the dice or raise our arm to be a lab rat, essentially. Like, none of us did as kids. How are we full-blown duped to do that as adults with freaking immunity? Once again, it just shows the emphasis. This is why it's so important to abolish this misinformation, disinformation, and censorship regime. Anyone that is infringing upon our First Amendment. I mean, we should have resorted to our Second Amendment to could have stopped all this. Because what was the greater threat? Am I inciting violence? No. They committed atrocities. They committed, I mean, he said it himself, we played the clip at nauseum, and we'll continue till these shots are taken off the shelves. But Bill Gates again, TED Talk, if we do really good job through health services and vaccinations, we can lower the population by 10 or 15%. That's not healthcare. That's not saving lives. That's murdering people. And they've successfully done that. And they've controlled the narrative, and the feeling behind it is to, oh, well, like it wasn't what he just said. It's crazy. This world is so crazy. Let's go. Let's continue. Keep in there. Hang in there. Let's share this. Let's wake more people up. We got it.
Bill Gates and his many big pharma companies are untouchable by law.
Yeah, right. By law.
Long story short,
kiss my butt.
Bill Gates uses laws and regulations to avoid tax. His foundation launders money at a scale the
They're
world
criminals.
has not seen before.
Right.
The foundation works to reduce inequities around the world. Really? Bill Gates invests in bad companies to make massive profits. Bad companies meaning pharmaceutical producers of poison,
right,
GMOs and vaccines with crippling side effects that have ruined millions of lives.
She covered all that in detail.
Agencies for censorship, facial recognition, injectable microchips and spyware, and connected to child trafficking. Bad companies meaning mines where our planet is ripped apart, and heavily polluting fossil fuel companies. Companies where people work under terrible conditions while being abused and underpaid. Companies that sell weapons.
Right.
The Gates Foundation
Profit
does
on
not
war.
invest in the well-being of the people in less developed countries. They invest in technology, brainwashing us with the idea that only
Right.
technology can save us from killer viruses out there that we are supposed to be very afraid of.
Well said, Janet.
Technology to save us from climate change. Technology to push back the population. Technology to keep us safe. The Gates Foundation destroyed the lives of millions of people by forcing abortions onto women who didn't want to lose their babies.
No, man.
They made many more millions of women sterile against their will. They try to make the entire world believe that eugenics is science, and thus okay. They try to make us all believe that vaccines are safe.
Right.
They manipulate numbers and statistics, and when confronted with the evidence, Gates wipes it away as collateral damage. He now calls 700,000 people with severe side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine acceptable.
Wow.
If you know how much money is put into family planning, i.e. eugenics, by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation alone in the form of grants, you will begin to realize that nobody is safe.
Wow. We must
The people
tear
in
this
Africa and
down.
India are mere guinea pigs for people like Bill Gates.
A lot of things we try out here first in India, and then when they work, we take them to the rest of the world.
Just admitted. We're experimenting over here. We just can't wait to bring this in when we're effective on sterilization or crippling individuals to make them dependent on our solutions in big farm. Unbelievable. Do you see what they're doing? It's crazy. I don't get how we're so peaceful. I don't get it. It's like if someone was like shooting a gun at you, you're just gonna, oh yeah, turn on the game. What? Yes.
The rest of the world will follow, whether you like it or not. Just look around. It's happening right now. Gates is not a scientist. He is not a doctor, even though he pays the press to make us believe that he is. He behaves like the president of the entire planet and is treated as such by everyone he owns. The fact that nobody elected him doesn't seem to bother him. With his money, he manipulates newspapers and TV stations, making sure that only his words are repeated and plugged. Everyone is all too aware of what they call the Bill chill. When you're caught saying anything negative, you can kiss your money goodbye.
Wow.
Critical voices are hushed up. Articles that question his motives are removed from the internet by Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and fact-checkers
Think
that
Julian
are all paid by
Assange.
the Cabal, as I've proven in part 6 of the previous series, The Fall of the Cabal. So, after all of the above, do you still trust Bill Gates? Do you trust any of the big pharma companies or any of his goons pushing his vaccination agenda forward?
Golly.
Do you still have faith in any of the so-called experts presenting their so-called findings
Unbelievable.
via the mainstream media on TV? Do you still believe there will be yet another wave of COVID-19 with different strains? Do you still believe the vaccine will be safe? If so, please feel free to take it. After all, it's a free world. Or is it?
Or is it? We haven't been free in our own
Let's
minds.
see what the depopulation agenda really means in our daily life in part 14.
Golly, Janet. Great images. Wow. Very well done. Can you start to see as to why she's no longer with us? She did such a good job exposing the infrastructure behind like all these evil doers in this life. And it is biblical. She's tied in a lot of the satanic symbolism Okay? Whether you believe in God or the devil, well, there is a part of it that it doesn't matter. They do. They believe in Satan and they worship him and they do rituals and they drink blood. They do sacrifice. They do torture. They're the ones behind all this trafficking. And yes, it is a bigger industry, and it breaks my heart, than the drug trade and gun trade combined. Just as the Sound of Freedom exposed. So when you, let's say if you don't believe in it, well, they do. And as you dive into that, that is the silver lining. When you legitimately see evil influencing, and it couldn't just be mortals by themselves, left to themselves. They couldn't be this freaking evil. I just would hope that you would then open that door to the light, to the creator of it all, in the biblical truths, in the evidence that was left for us all with Jesus Christ, with so many in all these books combined together that make up the roadmap, the Bible. I didn't always believe this or feel this way, but as you learn, as you see, as you pray, as you experience, that's what we're here to do. I mean, it's like the veil gets lifted, our hearts get touched, and we get set on a very meaningful, purposeful path. And it's exciting. Anyway, let's continue. I freaking love you guys. Way to hang in there. Let's go. Let's get through this part. Whew. Sorry, I'd read it, but I probably wouldn't read it fast enough for you.
Depopulation, Agenda 21 and 2030.
Right.
Georgia Guidestones.
Right.
A New World Order.
Yeah.
Is it really this bad?
Yes.
Can people
Expose
be so
them.
evil as to wipe us out as soon as they get a chance?
Yep.
Well, yes. We've already seen the position of the UN toward a New World Order.
Right.
Let's listen to some of our
Look
world
at the
leaders
symbolism.
and see if they believe in this New World Order, shall we?
The pyramid, the all-seeing eye.
Nothing less than a new world order. This is the pledge of the world's most powerful leaders, representing 90% of the global economy.
Ooh,
What's at stake is more
treasonous
than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law,
evil,
not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
Frick that pedophile.
Now being built.
We have the
And I
proof.
don't think America can retreat from that.
The integration of
Like the simple fact we're allowing that rotting bag of oatmeal to supposedly finish his term. Once again, it's like, okay, what are we doing? What a freaking clown world we live in. It's crazy. I sure hope we've woken up enough that we aren't just going to be lulled back to sleep in some false sense of security because of Trump. We have a crucial part to play. In fact, it's more than that. The real weight is on all of our shoulders collectively. Is a population of this country and also the world. Evil has waged war on the whole world. This cabal, you could see it so clearly with their series. I'm so grateful. All right, sorry. Let's just continue.
national economies into a global economy. So we're going to keep on pushing hard to shape an international order.
Sometimes I'm criticized in my own country
Good.
for professing a belief
in international norms and multilateral institutions, but I am convinced that in the long run, giving up some freedom of action, binding ourselves to international rules, over the long term enhances our security.
No.
Dat we ons samen sterk maken voor een wereldorde die weer een tijd mee kan. Voor onszelf en voor het collectief.
Today is the beginning of a global mobilization effort to rally all forces behind this Great Reset initiative. We need a Great Reset.
We can actively contribute together to building the 21st century world order.
Wenn man eine wirkliche Weltordnung haben will, eine globale politische Ordnung, dann wird man nicht umhin kommen, an einigen Stellen auch Souveränität, Rechte an andere abzugeben.
De internationale inbedding heeft ons land veel gebracht.
Golly, it's not worth it. Enjoy your palace in this mortal existence. Your soul is not worth it.
Pieces are in flux.
Unbelievable.
Soon they will settle again. Before they do, let us reorder this world around us.
In this period, when really a new world order can be created, it's a great opportunity. And
disgusting.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world. And the challenge is how to build a world order.
Control us all.
For the first time in history on a global basis.
President Obama and
no good.
British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order to tackle our global economic crisis.
And the president outlined his vision of a new world order in which the US would participate fully.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us want to see.
Hussein Obama.
To be assembled from so many different perceptions, or on so global a scale.
A new world is emerging. It is a new world order with significantly different and radically new challenges.
You know that everything that they've all said, that's also a lot of patriots have been taken down as misinformationists that quote what they say themselves, as though individuals aren't going to come across their agendas. Well, a lot of the masses still have yet to hear it. You don't have to take our word for it. You could hear it from them and what they're planning on doing. And you got to see through the cracks, right? You get a Barack Hussein Obama character and they're going to lie and deceive and use colorful, good sounding words, just like kind of how Bill Gates even did. Oh, if we do a really good job. It's just manipulation tactics. Unbelievable.
And I strongly believe India will be a central actor in the new world order.
After 1989, President Bush kept
pedophile.
It was a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
Think about it. The cabal owned that man and preyed on his weaknesses in Epstein to such a degree. They had a mural of him in a dress. What other way other than this cabal stepping forward saying, yes, your former president, we own him, he's our biatch, than that? I genuinely feel that painting that mural speaks more than them stepping forward and saying that. Unbelievable. These people disgust me.
Some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interest of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that is the charge, I stand guilty, and I'm proud of it.
Absorb that. Oh my gosh. She is exposing the big spider web, and these are some of the top tier of the cabal. Saying it themselves.
The New World Order is what they all want. The New World Order, as described in the Protocols of Zion. Remember?
Right.
We shall so wear down the Goyim that they will offer us international power that will enable us to form a super government. In place of the rulers of today, we shall set up a super government administration. Its hands will reach out in all directions, and its organization will be of such...
Are the ones dropping out of this very episode already too worn down to put forth the time and energy? Because this is what truly matters. Till this is properly addressed. Like, let's get the NFL back. Let's make it a sport again. Let's address things to where we can enjoy that camaraderie and competition and everything. But until then, my gosh, it's just being used like the Colosseum in Rome. Unrest amongst the people. Well, what will distract them? Let's give them some luxury. Let's give them some bread and circus so they don't make the connections and come after us. The two-tiered infrastructure, this system, this world government that we're trying to establish. Unbelievable.
Colossal dimensions that it cannot fail to subdue all the nations of the world. One authority will be glorious because it will be all-powerful. Our authority will be the crown of order, and in that is included the whole happiness of man.
You want nothing be happy.
We have seen in part 4 that the New World Order's main focus is complete world dominance.
Bunch
Population
of useless
control,
eaters.
better known as depopulation, is the UN's tool to annihilate the majority of the masses so that no more than 500 million people are left on the face of the earth.
They have the technology to control the masses.
Control, dominate, and subjugate.
Humans are now hackable
What
animals.
we've shown you so far when it comes to depopulation is not all. Believe it or not, there are more ways to depopulate the planet. The Cabal has given this topic a lot of careful consideration and planning. Now, before we talk you into a depression, please realize the following. First of all, this evil is nothing new. It has been here for many, many centuries.
Yes.
All we do is expose it so we can deal with it and get rid of it. Okay?
Yes, let's get rid of it. John 3:20. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed. Let's expose them. Janet, you are such a gift.
Exposure
and
is
such
vital.
a light.
It is the worst nightmare. Once you know what you're dealing with, you can act and take back your own sovereignty.
Let's get it.
Secondly, those who know us and our work know that we never end on a negative note. The scripts we write, the presentations we give, always end on a positive note. There is always an unexpected twist at the end. So please bear with us. We promise you, you will love what's coming. So, let's expose the maggots once and for all, shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
How are we, the people, being attacked in the name of population control? Wars, natural disasters, famine and drought, plagues and diseases, vaccinations, family planning, chemtrails, GMOs, and additives in food, water, beauty care and cleaning products.
Holy moly. Yes. Let's go through the list and start addressing these. Any one of these. Oh my gosh, she goes through it all. All right, let's just go.
Wars speak for themselves. As we've seen, they have always been caused by the Cabal as a divide and conquer strategy. And as a way to make massive amounts of money.
Yeah.
Wars don't just start. They are instigated by design. Always. Who makes the money? The Cabal. Who does the suffering? We, the people.
Right. If my sons did not want wars, there would be none. Rothschild, 1753-1849. Unbelievable. It's truth. Why are we letting certain select few dictate what happens worldwide? It is unbelievable. The mind control. I mean, think about how people gained such strong core beliefs that safe and effective and wear your mask and 6 foot safe just because fear porn, because the war machine. Could it possibly be Think about the narratives of 9/11. Could it possibly be happening again with Israel? Could they be preying upon Scripture as though Israel of the Bible is the Israel of today? Who's to even say that it's we're to protect Israel is a geographic spot on a map versus a people versus all of God's children? It's unbelievable what evil does. But I don't want another penny or any blood on our hands with innocent loss of life to these wars. We got to stop all the shenanigans. Unbelievable.
Next, natural disasters. Think earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. They don't need much explanation. The earth shakes, people die. But did you know that many of these natural disasters nowadays are actually caused by man?
Yes.
Ever heard of HARP?
Guys, this is like 2 years ago she created this. Look at what's happening now today. Look what happened in Hawaii. Look what happened in North Carolina. And it's only begun unless we put a stop to it. It's not... It could be argued this and that, many things. Okay, I get it. Yeah. But how do we entirely know till we just got to shut this down? Full stop. That's not even debatable. The scientists themselves have talked about how extremely successful they have been, even more than they were expecting with some of these devices. And unless you've fully looked into it, who are you to speak out negatively on these things? Without doing, like, you're judging books by its cover. We know that's foolish. Let's stop being foolish and do our proper research and not just a quick Google, okay? Because we now know, once again, if you go to get your information on a controlled platform, like, what are you thinking? That is insane. Insane.
High-frequency active aurora research program, an American military research program.
People don't like the truth? People drop out and can't handle truth? Really? Is that where we're at? Well, we're unmuzzled, okay? We're not going to put our muzzle on. And you want to put a muzzle on, you want to leave and go put a muzzle on, that's your choice. But it will be to your detriment and everyone in your life. That's just fact. Let's get real. Cutesy time's over. Let's put a stop to the warfare that is diminishing our lights and our loved ones. Let's fulfill the love we have for them by shutting this crap down today. That's what we're about.
Used to excite the ionosphere via high-frequency signals. Using it influences the weather in a profound way.
Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers
Boom.
into the sky to
They say it themselves.
precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons.
Oh, that's conspiracy. Oh, like, really? People want to talking about lasers or talking about HARP, talking about these things, and they want to chalk people up as conspiracy theorists when they say it themselves, folks. And it goes beyond this individual. Look at the patents, military-wise, civilian-wise, dates way back. This is just one of the legs of warfare, just one of them. And we got to stop speaking out on things we genuinely haven't done any research on. Everything mainstream media, Google, the censored platforms have put conspiracy labels on, censorship, misinformation on. We must run to figure out what the truth is on those topics. The flags, the alarm should be sounding in our hearts regarding all of it. It's like, what more proof do you need other than what took place with the pandemic? What else do we need to spoon feed the masses? Help me. Help me. Join us. Share this. Guest on this platform. I want to help magnify the American's voice so we can secure a better future.
It's creating what I call ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. In the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons.
This is great. This is great. This definitely couldn't be used as a weapon, right? Yeah, it's only for good. It's only for good.
Wash out the Viet Cong. For decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now for floods, for agriculture, farmers, for people planning wedding parties, football games, you name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes. All of them could be subject to weather modification.
Natural disasters can be and are triggered by the cabal to get rid of people. How convenient. Others are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes and volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. So there are plenty of ingenious minds out there that are at work finding ways in which they can wreak terror upon other nations. It's real.
It is real.
Next, depopulation through famine and drought. This too can be triggered by HAARP. Control the weather, and you control the yield of crop and the water supply.
Right.
Create hunger and thirst, and you have the people right where you want them. Needy, vulnerable, and scared.
Right. Scared.
Then, fast depopulation through plagues and diseases. Take, for instance, the bubonic plague, the Black Death, that killed God knows how many millions of people across the world in the Middle Ages. What a delightful way to lose millions of people in one go. No bullets needed,
Terrific.
No bombs,
Right.
just plagues. Another plague that turned out to be highly convenient was the Spanish flu. More people died of the Spanish flu than of bullets during the First World War.
Wow.
Between 1918 and 20, an estimate of 50 million people died. 1/3 of the entire world population was infected. It is believed to be the greatest pandemic the world has ever experienced. Worse even than the medieval Black Death. There are several very interesting things about the Spanish flu. First
Let's
of all,
hear it.
it didn't start in Spain. Secondly, it wasn't a flu.
Interesting.
There's more, but let's start with these two, shall we? If it didn't start in Spain, then where did it? In the US.
No kidding.
If it wasn't a flu virus, what was it? It was a bacteria that caused severe and in most cases lethal pneumonia.
Interesting.
According to a 2008 National Institute of Health paper, bacterial pneumonia was the killer in a minimum of 92.7% of the autopsies reviewed. So why do we call it the Spanish flu?
Right.
As a decoy, a smokescreen to hide the truth. Why? Because the truth is so hideous. Most people prefer to hear a convenient lie.
Ooh, let's not do that. A reassuring lie. An inconvenient truth. This lady in the window here is utterly astonished how everyone's just lining up to hear a reassuring lie. Let's not. Let's grasp this image. We're not to do this. Oh, I'm not doing it. We all continually, we are the one in the window of the reassuring lie in a huge sense. Like that gentleman, unfortunately, that I met at the gun range that didn't want to hear anything. Oh, I don't do politics. Well, this podcast is way bigger than politics. We, in fact, are sounding the alarm on all the weaponization, wars being waged on our families, chemtrails included. Oh, contrails. That individual, that poor soul, wants to reassure that lie within himself, as though he knows it all without even doing his proper research. Because you get on free speech platforms and you actually, lo and behold, come across the actual truth, and it resonates way more profoundly than the reassuring lie ever could, because it's truth. And you can't argue against it. We got to rule out What is it? The defective wiring that has us doing this? We must fight back against the very programming that has taken place that has us doing this. We all have it ingrained into us like generational curses, and it's been by design by these evildoers, the Rockefellers and everything, because they've infiltrated and dumped billions and trillions over time into our education system, into our entertainment, yes, NFL included, to have impacts. How many celebrities, idols, false idols? The word of God is so powerful. We're not to worship false idols in this existence. Where will that lead us? To spiritual death and mortal death. And it has been playing out. I'm very passionate on this because I myself have been duped. I myself have fallen prey. And I continually see very lovely people falling prey to these war tactics to this day. All right, I'm going to let it play out, interrupted. In fact, I got to use the restroom, so enjoy this uninterrupted portion.
The first cases of bacterial pneumonia in 1918 trace back to a military base in Fort Riley, Kansas. Long story short, during the first half of 1918, an experimental bacterial meningitis vaccine cultured in horses by the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research in New York, now the Rockefeller University, was injected into soldiers at Fort Riley. The so-called Spanish flu was a vaccine experiment gone horribly wrong. Well, that's what we, the people, would say. The Cabal would refer to it differently. They would call it an experiment with the best outcome ever. Millions of American soldiers were vaccinated with this experimental serum. 2 million of them went overseas. They fought under poor sanitary conditions, so the bacteria spread like wildfire wherever they went. The story was then spread that these soldiers would come home with all sorts of European diseases, so the American population was vaccinated as well. On top of everything else, the vaccines were distributed all over Europe. Only the vaccinated died. Healthy men and women in the prime of their lives died. Not the elderly, as would have been the case if it were a flu virus. Who was in charge of that distribution and mass vaccination program? The Rockefeller Institute. Who was the main scientist in charge? Dr. Frederick Gates.
Freaking insane.
According to Gates, they injected random dosages.
History repeating itself time and time again, and we don't. You know why we haven't fully grasped it? Because the history and the way it's written doesn't just belong to victors. It gets written by those capable of writing it. And it's beyond just that. How can we help bring this home mentally? You all heard, never let a good, now I'm missing it. Like tragedy go to waste. It's not just that. It's intentional outcomes. Just like this shot, there are no adverse effects, people. There's intended consequences. They put years and who knows how much money behind ensuring these outcomes. The best outcome would be a slower, not immediate, which we see a lot of, not an immediate, like, okay, you get the shot and then now you die. There was a lot of that, but apparently not enough to wake us up with their war machine censoring that information from getting out, but a slow drip to where we're not, it's kind of gray and we're not effectively attributing as to what the actual root of the issue is. But you see it here. And when you really look at the big picture of this last pandemic, you can see it there as well. Entirely. And this is why I'm so passionate, because more than seeing these evil, genocidal demons hang from a noose, I just don't want to see more needless, like more of my dear brothers and sisters suffer needlessly and die. Golly. It sucks that this is the truth, that this is the reality of the world we live in. But what is better? To live in ignorance, to be blue-pilled, to just be blind and continually experimented on and diminished and enslaved? Or utilize this opportunity to free ourselves from these slave masters that have built up incredible wealth, consolidated so much into BlackRock, so much into these foundations and 501c3s and 4s, as Janet so eloquently, brilliantly, very positively has exposed. She clearly's got a greater gift with speech, with research, with the whole nine. Presentation, digital documentation for us all, the visual cues, everything. Folks, let's do her justice. She died for us to get this information out. Let's please share it to everyone we know. Let them, I mean, we can't force upon them, like, let it land where it lands. And if they choose to hate us, if they choose to get mad, well, that's okay. We don't have to get mad. We don't have to hate them back. We can love them back. If we don't seize, enough of us seize this moment, then inevitably it will lead to a point everyone will be awakened, or it will lead to entire enslavement or death on the mass scale, which they've continually done. We just got to do our part, folks. My heart aches because all the lives lost, all the suffering that's happening. We together can put a stop. And it seems like we're building up great momentum. Even Joe Rogan, what he's putting out on his podcast now, finally, it's like he's growing a pair to an extent. He still speaks of COVID. It's like, folks, can someone in the comment section, like, define COVID for me? What's COVID other than a talking point based on a defective test? What's COVID? The PCR test has negative efficacy. Negative. So define COVID. Clearly something was making us ill. Let's try to get to the bottom of that. But let's not use their weaponization of words in squirrel tactics with COVID shenanigans. Let's actually find out the root of the issue. Then we can actually have a chance at breathing health back into folks. Could it be the 5G system they've rolled out? Could it be the spraying they're continually doing on us? Could it be what they're pumping in our water and into our food? We won't know till we actually start ruling these things out or do proper studies. Collectively, folks, we can get to the bottom of it. Not any one of us can shoulder this burden. Yes, it even feels overwhelming absorbing it on an individual level. But we must come to terms with the reality of this situation. Blue pilling ourselves doesn't do us any freaking good. That's what we're trying to really hit that nail hard right here, right now. But God bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing it out this far. let's continue. That breathes hope and light and excitement into me. And I hope it does you too. Because it's more than just the floodgates opening. Like more and more people are being open to this information, which is very exciting because we've been indoctrinated, like that last picture showed. Like it, we don't want to admit we've been in that line to or convenient lies, but we all have to one extent or another. In fact, we kind of do, with some core beliefs, with some untruths tied to some of these core beliefs that are tied to our identity. So it makes it very hard to come to terms that, oh, we got something wrong. But we best be excited to fix that. That's a personal journey. That's a personal choice. But I would rather choose, like, hey, I was wrong. Eat some humble pie. So if any of this, which some things Janet exposes, regarding the Tesla and potential time travel, like, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with everything 100%. She's ebbing and flowing, but she's more so riding that line of truth. And that's why I feel so convicted to diving into her information and the way she's gone about it, and just pay her tribute. I'm grateful for her. I hope you're building up gratitude for her as well. I'm sorry for this rant. Let's continue.
Of an experimental bacterial meningitis vaccine into soldiers. Those who survived became cloud adults, meaning they spread the bacteria to others, even the non-vaccinated.
Wow.
In modern COVID days, we would call it shedding.
Right.
The vaccinated infecting the non-vaccinated. What an amazing coincidence, right? Frederick Gates then, Bill Gates now.
Intended consequence.
Rockefeller Initiative then. Rockefeller Initiative now. Disease developed in Fort Riley, US then. Disease developed in Wuhan, China now. Closed down societies then. Closed down societies now. Cloud adults then. Shedding now. All for our own good, our own safety. Back then. And now.
It's so clear. You cannot hide truth. It will come out. Why have we allowed a world where a lie will travel the world 3 times before truth puts its shoes on? Come on. Let's change that.
In between.
It's almost like you got to pause each segment and fully absorb. Because I didn't even fully sink in some of the imagery she just went through. And we should. She did such a good job. It's all intertwined. And it really helps us see the picture clearly. So I'm grateful to even be going through this again, because it's re-solidifying the picture. At times it can be clouded, and we're so human. We get wrapped back up, and our priorities more skewed, and we get excusatory to what really matters. We're human. We must continually humble ourselves and put ourselves in check and not get too caught up in the fluff. I'm guilty. We all could do better, but that's the beauty of this existence.
Back to depopulation through plagues and
diseases.
diseases.
Continually try.
The problem with plagues is that they don't occur much. Certainly not in these modern times of hygiene. But not to worry. The Cabal is quite creative and always comes up with a solution to every problem. If there is no plague available, you create one.
Right. Wow.
An epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths.
Boom. Come on, folks. Do I need to say it? Do I need to embellish on that? Just hear what they say. This is not all coincidence. At all. Let's freaking go. Let's go after this cabal like never before. Let's kick some butt. Let's not be fearful. Let's not excuse ourselves. And let's take our roles. We were put in this time for a reason bigger than our bank accounts, enslaving ourselves to a debted system. It's the very banks. It's the very Federal Reserve. We are enslaved by. It's the IRS. Yes, it's our own government, which was built to secure our country. That's it. Our freedoms. That's it. To ensure no infringements on our Bill of Rights, our constitutional rights. And you can see that our own government has trampled on all of that. Why? Well, because it's been infiltrated by this, not just this man, but the cabal he is intertwined with. Golly, the fall of the cabal paints it all. It really does. I didn't mean to rhyme there or nothing. It's just, holy frick. Let's snap out of it. Let's wake up. Let's get charged up. Too many individuals in my own life. Well, I'll do what I can within. Why are you excusing yourself? Why are you putting limitations on, in fact, what you can do? Ways you can show up. For frick's sakes, someone you know is helping, trying to connect the dots. You could show it. That's why it's bigger than me. It's bigger than this platform. By people I know don't even tune in. And it's like you don't even necessarily have to, but you could help promote. You could help get these messages out. There are a great many things we all, and I'm trying to get better and more efficient at building momentum, finding solutions, securing outcomes, seeing real results. That's what we want to accomplish. We need your help in doing that. Whether it's through shares, whether it's through your input, whether it's through your comments or guesting on this platform. If there is something else I could do that would be better suited for me and my abilities and all our time, please help facilitate that. We can do this more effectively as a community than any one of us individually could achieve. Are you grasping what we're trying to do here now? I appreciate anyone that actually takes this serious. Takes what I'm saying serious, because I am deadly serious. I mean everything I just stated.
That's either naturally caused or intentionally caused.
Back in 1943, Fort Detrick in Maryland, US, was set up as a center of the US biological weapons program. Everything that happened there was top secret.
Unacceptable.
Fort Detrick was a tool of the CIA. It was a dark pit of the most inhumane experiments in the area of mind control and killer viruses.
Unacceptable. Get out of here. Kids.
If you truly want to know how evil it really was, we urge you to look into Michael Aquino, the head of MKUltra at Fort Detrick, who later founded the satanic cult of the Temple of Set.
You can't make this stuff up. See, this is now proof. Whether you believe in God or the devil, in a way it doesn't matter. I mean, it does, because ultimately that is the ultimate matter. What matters more than this existence, but you don't have, they believe in it. That's what you're up against. Golly, I love Janet, man. Holy smokes. She does such a great job. MK Ultra is no joke. And they deployed MK Ultra tactics on all of us. Mass psychosis is no joke. Mind control is no joke.
In 1968, Fort Detrick hosted yet another secret project, the Special Virus Cancer.
It's crazy to see people ebb and flow. If this would seem too far out, then maybe you just jumped in at the wrong time. But we got to get people to absorb all this information. Set down the Netflix. Set down the mind control. Set down the bread and circus. This information, whether it's through Unmuzzled Chat, whether it's just through her series, is what freaking matters.
Program. It was part of the National Cancer Institute. The scientists wanted to learn how to use viruses to make cancer and to force normal cells to become cancerous by subjecting them to viruses.
Wow. Guys.
Why? Because cancer
They
is an excellent
created
weapon
cancer.
when it comes to biological warfare. It can be used to take down political leaders without any suspicion of a crime committed. And it can be used to wipe out large numbers of the population, as most forms of cancer are deadly. Approximately 10 million people die of cancer worldwide each year.
Why do you think the individuals that come out and publish or claim, and that's all we're left with, and a doctor, a brilliant mind that claimed having the cure to cancer? That's why you don't say cure. You say cure. You have a death wish, and they get suicided, and all the research disappears. Do we get it now? Can we see it now? Can we see what we're up against? It's very clear to me.
That's about 26,000 people each day.
Wow.
2 classes of cancer-causing viruses were studied extensively at Fort Detrick's Special Virus Cancer Program. The RNA-type tumor retroviruses and the DNA herpes-type viruses. In the process, 2 discoveries were made: HIV and KS.
You see where this is going?
Kaposi sarcoma is widely known as the gay cancer that often accompanied AIDS when the first cases broke out in gay men in Manhattan, New York City in 1979. As a matter of fact, Manhattan was the center of the first AIDS outbreak, not Africa. It wasn't until 1982 that AIDS broke out in Africa.
More true boss.
Still, we are supposed to believe that AIDS originated in Africa and that it jumped from apes, primates, to humans.
Right.
Not only that, we are supposed to believe that back in 1979, it jumped from Africa.
Just like the COVID bullshit came from a pangolin and a whatever. What a freaking circus. Yeah, right here. This dude's face says it all.
Apes to only white gay men in Manhattan. As did the human herpes 8 virus that causes all forms of Kaposi sarcoma, the gay cancer. We are expected to believe that 2 primate viruses, a retrovirus and a herpes virus, jumped species in Africa at the same time and ended up exclusively in the blood of white gay American men to produce a new immunodeficiency disease in 1979, now called AIDS. This proposed scenario suggests to me that such an unlikely African event has the markings of a scientific fairy tale, and I remain stupefied that such nonsense can pass for science in the 21st century.
Amen. Wow. Well said.
So, what else happened in Manhattan in 1979?
Yes.
The experimental hepatitis B vaccination program. For 2 years until 1981, the year the AIDS epidemic became official, gay men were vaccinated with this experimental vaccine, not only in Manhattan, but also in cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. What a coincidence that these 3 cities became the 3 big epicenters of the AIDS epidemic. Now, we realize that there will be a lot of opposition and denial when it comes to the man-made origin of HIV and AIDS.
Right.
We suggest you study the work of professionals such as Dr. Leonard Horowitz,
Boom.
Dr. Robert Strecker,
Do we need to pause these? Because anyone that's... those people probably just tuned out. The truth is what sets us free, not ignorance. Come on, people. It's just like we want to smack. I want to smack people. I'm not going to lie. Forgive me. But this is what it is. It's like God is everything free agency, but in a huge way with the programming, with the manipulation, with all this illness being sprung upon us in a huge way, our agency has been stolen. So, for some, it's questionable whether allowing them to continually be fooled or actually literally smacking some truth in them to their benefit. Like, what? I'm sorry, I just brain farted. What is more? Oh my gosh, I have a caffeine high right now. I drank way too much of that. I need to get some food in me. I feel the shake. So I apologize. Let's just continue, and I'm going to try to fix myself. Like I could just a little bit at times for me when I have an empty stomach. Like I get total shakes and jitters. I just need to cut out any caffeine. Caffeine probably just is a huge mistake for me to be digesting at all. And I guess it's something we all could look into individually, but I apologize. Let's continue. I thought I could bring that point home, and I just fell flat on my face. I'll humbly admit it. I apologize.
Professor Robert Lee and the above-mentioned Dr. Alan Cantwell. Back to Fort Detrick and its horrid experiments. Meet Robert Charles Gallo, a biomedical researcher best known for his role in the discovery of HIV and subsequently the invention of the HIV test kit. He was head of the Laboratory of Tumor Cell Biology at the National Cancer Institute. Gallo didn't actually discover HIV, he stole the discovery, held by his partner in crime, Dr. Fauci. Whom did they steal it from? Dr. Frank Rossetti and Dr. Judy Mikovits. Mikovits worked under the direction of Rossetti. She was the one who isolated HIV from blood and saliva, and by doing so, she confirmed the earlier discovery by the French Dr. Luc Montagnier, who had isolated and described HIV as a possible cause of AIDS. When Rossetti was out of town, Mikovits got a phone call from Fauci, who ordered her to give him the manuscript about the isolation and confirmation of HIV while it was still in press. Mikovits refused, as it was unethical to do so. The paper was still confidential. Fauci then threatened to fire her for insubordination. Mikovits still refused. When Rossetti returned a few weeks later, he gave Fauci the manuscript. Fauci then deliberately delayed the publication of the manuscript so that his partner in crime, Dr. Frank Gallo, could steal the content and write a competing paper, submit it, and get it into press before Rossetti and Mikovits could do so. On
Unbelievable.
May 4, 1984, Dr. Gallo published his now famous papers containing the findings of Rossetti and Mikovits, but under his name.
This delayed the development of testing and spread the HIV epidemic through the world, killing millions.
Wow.
Was Fauci held accountable for his responsibility for the millions of lives his greed had cost? On the contrary. 6 months later, he was appointed director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, a position he still holds today. Well, not much longer, we suspect, as Dr. Fauci is now heavily under fire for his involvement in the Wuhan outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. With all the evidence now on the table, we find it hard to believe that Fauci will be on the right side of the prison bars for much longer. Back to Dr. Gallo. Gallo worked with Litton Industry and its subsidiary Bionetics. Litton Industry is a defense contractor and supplier of biological weapons. Bionetics managed America's Biological Weapons Testing Center at Fort Detrick and ran the entire National Cancer Institute with its special virus cancer program. Bionetics supplied the lab animals, including monkeys and chimpanzees, cancer viruses and vaccine culture media for cancer investigators and pharmaceutical manufacturers throughout the 1960s and 70s. Litton and Bionetics created and spread AIDS and many other deadly viruses. Subsequently, Bionetics supplied Merck with experimental viruses for vaccine studies. Now, that sounds rather clinical, doesn't it? But here's what really happened. They used children as guinea pigs in Africa and at the Willowbrook State School on Staten Island in New York. Children!
Have you ever used orphans to study an experimental vaccine?
Yes.
Have you ever used babies of mothers in prison to study an experimental vaccine?
Yes.
Have you ever used individuals under colonial rule to study an experimental vaccine?
Yes.
Did you do so in the Belgian Congo?
Yes.
I got to shake so bad. I messed up.
These were experiments conducted by the evil trinity of Litton, Bionetics, and Merck, assigned by Kissinger and the CIA. Mind you, these experiments were in no way less evil than those of the Nazi doctors in the death camps of World War II. In this school from hell, mentally retarded children were injected with vaccines containing all kinds of killer viruses, including cancer viruses.
Unbelievable. What is going on?
Cause new types of cancer, such as leukemia, lymphoma, and sarcoma, diseases they had never seen before. In 1970, the Defense Department ordered these viruses, including other immune-suppressing viruses. That's right, the Defense Department bought cancer-inducing viruses that had been invented, created by Bionetics, and tested on children. So, in case you ever wondered why we never heard about people dying from cancer in the old days, it's because all of these kinds of cancer had not been invented yet.
Boom!
Merck is one of the big pharma giants that
Absorb
Bill Gates
this.
is heavily involved in.
Wow.
According to researcher Dr. Leonard Horowitz, it was Kissinger who gave the order to fabricate the killer viruses. Merck's vaccines triggered AIDS. At the same time, Kissinger prepared his infamous National Security Memorandum 200. That's right, the Kissinger Report, calling for a massive third world depopulation. Remember from part 6? The devastating side effects of the hepatitis B vaccine, like HIV, AIDS and cancer, must have been an absolute triumph in the eyes of the Cabal, wanting to depopulate the planet. It didn't take long before the next target of their annihilation program was massively vaccinated, the black people of the African continent. We all know how that ended. over 32 million people died a slow and horrible death by this brand new disease called AIDS.
Terrible.
We promised to tell you more about the other depopulation tools: vaccinations, family planning, chemtrails, GMOs, and additives in food, water, beauty care, and cleaning products. But as we've gone beyond the time limit of our episodes, we invite you to join us to Part 15.
Holy smokes, folks. Well, I straight up... Oh, how do we... No, stop. All right, we'll just close that out. I'm sweating over here. You could probably see it. I don't know if any of you guys experience this, but it must be a Lyme related thing. I'm like freaking falling apart. I'm shaking. Like, this is crazy. I haven't experienced a wave of this in a while now. I had oatmeal, this healthy oatmeal, but that's minimal, right? And that was earlier. So I hit a wall. I don't know how people do like water fasts, because if I don't eat, like, I'll get out of nowhere, I'll get the shakes. It'll magnify if I have any type of caffeinated drink. It will get real bad. And I'm sweating and shaking, but I appreciate you. Wow. I'm kind of upset with myself right now, to be honest, because I would love to wrap up this episode profoundly strong. Like, this was an amazing episode that Janet created, and it really was very heavy hitting, exposed so much, gave us much to question and research for ourselves. Don't take my word for it. Don't take her word for it. But what she uncovered, wasn't that enough? Didn't she bring enough receipts for us to want to do the actual research for ourselves? That's what's important. That's what's crucial. Then when we speak, we can speak out on things in ways that will raise eyebrows to others. I'm trying to hold it together. Like, this is crazy. And to be on a live stream, potentially for the world to see, whether a million were watching or just a few, like, this is serious. This is no joke. But let's get through the daily devotional and wrap up for the day. God bless you. Thank you for making it this far. So Jesus is calling. Let's answer. I can't wait for this food to settle in. I'm having an out-of-body experience. This is intense. Okay. November 9th. State, sit quietly with me, letting all your fears and worries bubble up to the surface of your consciousness. There, in the light of my presence, the bubbles pop and disappear. However, some fears surface over and over again, especially the fear of the future. You tend to project yourself mentally. This is crazy. Into the next day, week, month, year, decade. It's not protection by taking the blue pill. In fact, we can, by coming to terms with this reality, by handing it over to God, it's entirely liberating and freeing. But it states, and you visualize yourself coping badly in those times. What you are seeing is a false image, because it doesn't include me. Those gloomy times that you imagine will not come to pass, since my presence with you at all times. When a future-oriented worry assails you, capture it and disarm it by sufficing the light of my presence into that mental image. Wow, that's a powerful tool for us to try applying in our own lives. Say to yourself, Jesus will be with me then and there. With his help, I can cope. Then come home to the present moment where you can enjoy peace in my presence. Wow, that is beautiful. I needed that today. There's 3 biblical references. I challenge you to check them out. We got Luke 12, 22 through 26, Deuteronomy 31, 6, 2 Corinthians 10, 5. I know this was a lot. I mean, especially now, holy smokes. I went over the 2-hour mark. I like to keep it under 2, but man, this was good. I hope you smash that like button, comment, share this to the moon and back. I'm struggling with words, I'm not going to lie. But I appreciate all of you. I appreciate even the challenges we have. In a huge way, I have appreciation for Lyme disease because it's opened my eyes. And I can help others that are struggling with all these chronic illnesses that are unnatural, that are not of God at all. So let's stop demonizing God for allowing the free agency of evildoers to kick these type of things off. After all, Jesus provided a lot of evidence and miracles. God's done miracles and performed miracles in my own life. And if we're honest with ourselves, probably all our lives. Let's grasp onto that. Let's continue the momentum together. We have an uphill battle still. We still have a lot of censorship. It's unbelievable. They're still trying to keep people from understanding how to gain health and up their resilience. And we must do that, obviously, to expose and grasp and come to terms with everything so we can end this cabal. Let's do that together. May our loving Creator bless you this beautiful day. May he bless our country. And I'm excited to dive more into Janet's work. Until then, folks, take care of yourself. Love you.